Okay, morning guys. Today we're going to be looking at multiplying and dividing fractions. Last lesson we did a fair bit on multiplying fractions, or we introduced it, and I said that the one step difficult to that was dividing, but although I said it wasn't that much more challenging. So what I want you to do today, is to get your books out, to make sure you're writing notes and copying notes down, copying these examples down. Particularly, some really important facts I'll be bringing up on this lesson. And then once you've done that, there are some questions that I want you to have a go at in your textbook. Okay, so first of all, let's do a bit of recap on multiplying. Okay, so we'll look at a nice easy one, a half times 3/4. Okay, now last lesson we looked through this. We said that this is different to adding and subtracting. Adding and subtracting, you need to have find a lowest common denominator, and then you can add the tops. Remember, we never add the bottom, because I will throw a book at you if that is the case. But when we're timesing, guys, it's nice and easy. We're simply just multiplying the top numbers and multiplying the bottom numbers. That's it. Okay, there's nothing different to that. So 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, we have the answer of 3/8. Now, maybe one slightly more challenging question, only very, very slightly, something like 4/12 times 2/3. Okay, again, times your tops and times your bottoms. Okay, so 4 times 2 is 8, 12 times 3 is 36. Why is this slightly more challenging? Well, we can simplify 8 over 36. Okay, so what goes into both of them? Well, 2 does, but also 4 does. Okay, 4 is probably a better number. How many 4s are in 8? Well, there are 2 4s. How many 4s are in 36? Well, 9. There are 9 4s. We get that simplified fraction of 2 over 9. So look, that's much easier, and we said that to you before in class, that we really like to times fractions because it's simply just timesing tops and timesing bottoms. Okay, so let's get on to the main stuff, the hard stuff, the dividing fractions. It's not hard. Okay, let me tell you that to start off with. Let's have a look at a question like this. We'll do 4 over 5 divided by, let's say, 2/3. Okay, there'll be a few secrets I'll be letting you in on. Number one, we do not like to divide by fractions. That is the first and foremost. We hate dividing by fractions. In fact, we avoid it at all costs. So how do we avoid it? Okay, there's another little fact that I'm going to let you in on. Now, I want you to write this down. This is really important. Dividing by a fraction, so make sure you're writing this down, please. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying it by its reciprocal. Now, you might say, what on earth is the reciprocal? Make sure you write this down. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. What is the reciprocal? Okay, the reciprocal, which you can also write down, can also actually be called the inverse. Okay, can be called the inverse. This is where we turn a fraction upside down. Okay, in other words, and the better word might be, we flip it. Okay, so in order to have a reciprocal of a fraction, or to find the inverse of a fraction, we simply turn that fraction upside down. Okay, we flip it. So it says, dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying it by the reciprocal. So what we've got 4/5. We're going to turn that divided by, because we hate divided by, we're going to turn it to a times. And now what we're going to do, we're going to find the reciprocal of that second fraction. So 2/3, we turn it upside down, we get 3/2. Yep, it's an improper fraction. That does not matter, guys. Doesn't matter at all. It's important to remember, guys, we only flip the second fraction. Okay, because that's what we're dividing by. We're dividing by the 2/3. So we've turned the divide to a times, and then we flip it to 3/2. And the good thing is now, because we like timesing by fractions, we now times the top. So 4 3s are 12, 5 2s are 10, and then we can simplify if necessary. So we could put that as like 6/5 if we wanted to, or even we could put it as 1 1/5. Okay, so again, simplify where possible. So what do we do there? We turn the divide to a times, because dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. Okay, so we turn it to a times and we flip the second fraction. That's the reciprocal, the inverse. Okay, so let's have a look at a question. Okay, so we're going to have 3/4 divided by, let's say, 1/6. Remember the key. We need to the dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying it by its reciprocal. Okay, so we've got 3/4. We're going to turn the divide to a times, but remember we must flip that second fraction. That's the reciprocal. Okay, now we can simply do 3 times 6, which is 18. 4 times 1, which is 4. Okay, 18 over 4 is the same as, well, let's have a look. Let's divide it by 2, for example. We get 9 over 2. Okay, half of 18 is 9, half of 4 is 2. And we can even then say, well, 2 goes into 9 4 times with 1 remaining, so 4.5. But to be honest, if it hasn't asked you to put it as a mixed number, you can just leave it as that fraction, and that will be okay. Okay, so that's example 1. Let's have example 2. Let's do 1/2 divided by, let's say, 4/3. So again, we're dividing by a fraction. We don't like that. Okay, so let's change the question to something that we do like, which is a times. But again, we need to find the reciprocal of 4/3, which is 3/4. Now we've got 1 times 3, which is 3. 2 times 4, which is 8. We can't go any further. Bang, we've got our answer, 3/8. Hopefully you're starting to get the hang of this, guys. Again, dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying it by its reciprocal. Okay, I'm going to give you one last question. I want you to have a go at this. Pause it, have a go at it. See if you can get this one right. It's going to be a tough one. 3.5 divided by 1 1/3. Okay. Think about this question. Think about what we would do if it was a times in question. We know how to make it a times in question, so do that. Have a go at it. Pause it. If you're not sure, then follow on, but pause it, have a go. If you get stuck, then press play, and let's see the answer. Off you go. Welcome back. Okay, so hopefully you recognize that we need to convert this to an improper fraction. We need to convert this to an improper fraction. Oops, sorry there. So 3 1/2 is the same as saying, well, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7 over 2 divided by, and 1 times 3 is 3 plus 1 is 4 over 3. So that's my first step. Okay, we've rewritten the question. Now it's improper fractions. Now what we can do is get rid of this divided by and say 7 over 2 times it by, but remember, if we turn it to a times, we must find the reciprocal or the inverse of 4 over 3, which is 3 over 4. Okay, and now look at that. It's a nice easy question. 7 times 3 is 21. 2 times 4 is 8. If we want to make that an improper fraction, we can, and we haven't been asked to. That is a simplified fraction because only 7 and 3 goes in 21. But if we wanted to write this improper fraction, we know that 2 8s is 16, and we have 5 left over. So we could put it as improper fraction, but to be honest, guys, if you're getting to this stage at the moment, or if you can do this question at all, you're doing incredibly well. Okay, you should be very, very happy. If you are not sure about this stuff, guys, what I want you to do is when you're going through the questions that you were given to do, okay, for classwork, you can replay this lesson and have a go at each question by copying what I'm doing, okay? Or you've got the notes in front of you that you can do that as well, all right? Best of luck. Please give it your best shot. Again, if you're not sure, replay this video. Do it once, do it twice, okay? Have a crack at it. But remember, if you can multiply fractions, then you can divide, because all you need to do is to turn that divide into a times and then find the reciprocal. So remember that what we said there, dividing by a fraction or dividing a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. Its reciprocal. And remember, reciprocal is simply swap it upside down, flip it upside down, whatever you do to remember, change it. Okay? Have a go at questions, guys. Any problems, post Edmodo and I'll try to help you out. Cheers.